This is Esther Kane
and Robin Schultz
with SeniorSafetyAdvice.com. Today we're going to make a video that's accompanying a new article we just published on how to help an elderly person get up off the floor. This happens a lot, and I don't know if that's ever happened to you. It happened to my mother. So
it's happened to my mother as well. So.
Yeah, so we have a little experience on that. So the first thing we want to say is stay calm, don't panic, and help the person who's on the floor also to stay calm and not to panic.
They kind of feed off of your energy, so if you're freaking out about everything,
right,
you're going to make them upset as well.
Right. The third thing is really just to, before you move them, don't move them, assess them, make sure that they're okay, that they haven't broken a bone or have a head injury or neck injury or back injury, hip fracture, shoulder fracture, whatever.
And keep in mind, they may not even really know that they have that injury. So
right,
you really, if there is any doubt in your mind, call 911.
Right.
It's much better to have EMTs come. The responders, they have cervical collars for the neck. They can stabilize the person. You don't want to move somebody who is injured because you can make the injury so much worse.
Exactly. So if that person can respond to you, obviously speak to them, ask them for their feedback, because some patients with Alzheimer's or dementia can't really respond to you, or even Parkinson's, actually, some of them. Mm-hmm. So ask them, but don't always trust what they say. Just like Robin said, make sure that everything looks okay. If you feel comfortable, then you can begin the process of lifting them. But always be cautious. Call 911 if you need to.
And one other side note is you're going to be using some of your body to help them. So if you are not in a position where you're strong enough to help them, it's not going to help anybody if you end up being injured or if you get them partway up and then they fall back down. So again, 911 may be your best bet. But.
Right. Exactly. Unless you have a paramedic as a neighbor, that would be helpful also. But all right, so we're going to start going through the steps.
And we're assuming that this is a person that is generally able-bodied, has been able to respond. You're pretty confident that they can get up there just kind of banged up and they are having a hard time getting up on their own.
Right. All right. So here we go.
Okay, so I'm the patient, and so I'm going to assume the
Yes,
position.
Robin's the patient, and I'm going to be the lifter. So we'll get there from there. Hold on. All right, so we're back, and we're going to start with the process. I already positioned 2 chairs, one by her feet and one by her head, just like we mentioned in the article. Now, also, if she happens to fall near some sturdy furniture like a sofa or a very heavy coffee table or a dining room table even, as long as it's low enough that she can push herself up off of, you can definitely use that. But in this instance, we're going to assume that she fell and there's no furniture around her, so we're using 2 very sturdy chairs.
Not folding chairs.
Right, not folding
chairs. Not something like you would use for playing cards at a card table, something like a kitchen table or a dining chair.
Right, you want to use something sturdy, like you wouldn't use a piece of furniture like this back here. It's just going to fall down with any weight, especially if they're a heavy person. If the person who fell is heavy and you're capable enough, healthy enough, to lift them, you may want to put a belt around them that you can hold on to help them lift up. But Robin is very light, so I can use her clothing that she has to help, because it's always good to grab onto something to help them. You can certainly put your hand under their hip, which will help, but oftentimes just using the clothing that they have is good enough. You can assess it depending on the person that's on the floor. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is, after I've assessed that she's fine and she's okay, and we're going to begin the process of getting her up, I'm going to ask her to take her upper hand or upper arm and put her hand flat on the ground, because she's going to push herself up off of that. And of course, you want to be instructing them, if you can, if they can follow the instructions on as you go along. Then you want to take the upper leg and move the knee up a little bit further because they're going to end up getting on all fours. So that's the position that's going to best help them.
And you might, from my perspective as the person on the floor, you might want to ask them to move their other leg back a little bit just to give them some maneuvering room.
Okay, so whatever will work to get them on all fours. All right, Robin, so I'm going to ask you to push yourself up with your hand, and I'm going to place my hand underneath her shoulder and help lift her up that way to get to all fours. All right, can you push up? And then I have my other hand on her clothing, helping her hip to go up. So now that she's on all fours, I can bring the chair closer to her head, closer to her. Okay, Robin, can you put your hand up on the chair and both hands up? And so now she's on. Can you bring your knees further, walk towards the chair? There we go. So now she's up. At this point, you may want to wait a minute or two because sometimes when anyone gets up off the floor, they may be dizzy, especially if they have low blood pressure. Or I don't know, does it happen with high blood pressure? But definitely low blood pressure. So wait a minute or two, wait till they feel okay. In the meantime, you're going to bring the chair that was by her feet close to her because you're going to end up seating her on that chair.
And again, from a person's perspective on the floor, I happen to be on a carpet right now, on a throw rug, but if I was on the hardwood floor, you can always take a towel that's folded and put it underneath the person's knees to make it a little more comfortable for them.
Right, exactly. Thank you. Forgot about that. So, all right. So now I've got her on knees and she's leaning her weight on her arms. So I'm going to ask her to bring your strong leg up in front of you so that the foot is flat on the ground. And then I'm going to help her as she pushes herself up for the purpose of sitting in the back chair.
And you want to have this back chair as close to the person as you can because when they get up, they may be dizzy or whatever and they could fall backwards. So you don't want to have any gap in between their behind and the chair.
Right. All right. So can you push yourself up with that leg? And I'm going to guide you back here. And that's it. Do not let go of the person until they're completely seated and comfortable and you know that they're safe. And I wouldn't walk away from them for a few minutes just in case they are dizzy and they could topple over. And then you'd have to go through it all over again.
Right. If you have your cell phone handy at this point and they are feeling like they're out of breath or dizzy, they've got heart palpitations, anything like that, hopefully your cell phone is close at hand. You can call 911 without leaving their side.
Exactly. Or if you're lucky enough to have Alexa, you can yell Alexa to call 911. Which is an awesome tool.
Mm-hmm. And we have an article on how Alexa can help your senior too.
Yes, yes.
So visit us at seniorsafetyadvice.com for more helpful tips and information for caring for your senior loved one. Also, don't forget to like this video and to hit the subscribe button and you'll get new updated videos and tips as we release them.
Yep.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks so much for watching. Bye.